Choir of One is here, and it is great. It is a weapon you get from the new exotic mission Encore, included in Act 1, Episode 3. We are seeing a unique archetypal weapon we've never seen before, a 220 RPM Void special ammo auto rifle. This thing hits like a truck. First impressions, this thing is remarkable, and it's really just waiting and seeing if it gets any better as the weeks come with the Catalyst. Now, as a little bit of a spoiler, I think this thing is going to be a tiny bit better in PvE than it is in PvP, specifically because this thing has a ridiculously high skill floor in PvE. I do not respect or expect people in Crucible, casuals in Crucible, that being said, to take this thing and immediately crush it. Not like Kvostov, not like other exotics we've seen. This thing has, it takes a little bit more, especially because you have to manage the ammo economy of it being a special ammo auto rifle. I think that casuals aren't going to be very happy. They're going to think it's powerful, and then they're going to put it down because it is not easy to use. Getting into how it performs in Crucible, I have a little bit of a bad showcase, but just listen to what I have to say. When talking about Choir 1 in terms of Crucible context, it is basically a scout rifle in an auto rifle's body, slow firing, the slowest firing auto rifle we've ever seen. Thus, it has a relatively unique damage model when you're aiming down the sights. If you are firing it as the Wyvern Blast, in my opinion, the only thing that's going to be useful for is when you're using the gun as a shotgun. You're not seriously, if you shouldn't, rather be seriously wasting your ammo on using the hip fire in a regular circumstance. You should be saving most, if not all, of your ammo for the aim down sights attack. That's not to say that the hip fire doesn't have its uses. I do think that it does have its uses. It is okay. It's a very good shotgun. It doesn't have any splash radius, and my testing is super, super inconsistent. But the real strength behind Choir of One is its damage model. Now, you'll notice that it does a very, very, very specific amount of damage, which allows a radiant buff to increase the damage profile to 78 damage per precision hit. That 78 damage is going to allow the Choir of One to 3-shot in all circumstances, given that it is doing 234 damage, 78 times 3, 234. The max health a Guardian is allowed to have before damage resistance is 230. So even if you're playing against full teams with 10 maxed out resilience, it isn't going to be a problem if you're able to manage Radiant intelligently. On Hunter, it's easy to keep Radiant procced. On Warlock, it's easy to keep Radiant proc. It's a little bit trickier to keep Radiant procced on Titan, and this is a gun that is going to reward you for sitting back and playing like it is basically a faster firing, harder hitting scout rifle. That is the real benefit to this thing, having a lot of range, having good catalysts, and having a good damage profile to get those 3 taps with Radiant. The biggest downside in Crucible that I can see is the fact that it's special ammo. With the way the current ammo economy, the current ammo meta is working, as long as you are picking up the bricks on the wall and you are getting special ammo after killing people, you can realistically anticipate that you're going to get 1 kill for every 3 or 4 shots of this weapon. You're getting a net ammo efficiency of around 80%. I think that's the way that math works. But this gun is more obviously special ammo dependent, special ammo economy dependent than any other special weapon in the game, because by using Choir of One, you are forced, I mean actually forced, to run double primary. There's no way you can sustain a reasonable damage output only relying on the special ammo pickups you are getting from wall drops, and you are getting from respawning, and you're getting from killing people, because you're not getting special ammo when you're killing somebody with a special weapon. That is just the way the special ammo meta is focusing currently. I liked pairing this thing with other longer range weapons just to play it where it's best. Basically, you play with the long range weapon until you have ammo for the Choir of One. That's the way I was doing it personally. Now, I can totally see people running SMG in an auto rifle or even a scout rifle in Choir of One, even though I feel that running this thing with another pulse rifle is going to be best. You want something that is going to allow you for major shot stopping potential, something with high handling, something with quick draw. I liked running Redrix in the games that I played. I thought it was fun. Haven't bust out Redrix in a while, even though my favorite weapon, the weapon I did the best with, was running it with Imminence, the Salvation's Edge SMG. I think that thing is underrated in Crucible especially. using it in this context, as a secondary weapon rather than your primary weapon, if that actually makes sense. You should be treating Choir 1 as your primary weapon and your other weapon as something that you are able to just get special ammo with, basically. Despite the fact that I'm a washed PvP player, as you can tell by some of my footage, barely able to kill anybody, I thought that this thing is going to be incredible in PvE, and what do you know? I was right. I have had more fun using Choir Run in PvE than any other weapon in recent history. Enough fun to the fact that where it's now replaced Conditional Finality as my exotic of choice in my Void build. Before, I used Age-Old Bond as my workhorse. I am a Hunter main, so I'm only talking about Hunter here, running Gerfalcon's Hoiberg and other Void Invis related builds, debuff stacking, destabilizing rounds, volatile rounds, yada yada yada. Doing that with Choir of 1 instead of Age-Old Bond, it was just so fun. It was basically having 3 weapons in your inventory, my special weapon being a primary shotgun or mountaintop. I was using one of these scenarios. You actually had your auto rifle, and you basically had a bigger shotgun with super high burst damage. It's actually crazy the amount of burst damage this thing could do when hipfire. So yeah, this thing is absolutely worth it. If you haven't logged on to Destiny in a couple of months, I would log on just to get this thing. The only downside is you have to actually play the season story, a underwhelming season story. Once it is all out, we'll be doing my overview on it, but it really is not good. Apart from that, the catalysts are not all out yet. You can only get one this week, that being Subsistence. The other 2 catalysts for this weapon are going to be Destabilizing Rounds and Onslaught. I do feel, just off of analyzing this gun, since it uses so much ammo at the same time, you are going to want either Destabilizing Rounds or Subsistence. Have to do some more testing because I am the leading catalyst expert on YouTube for some reason. Now, to stop sucking myself off, it's just how I noticed that this gun is playing with Subsistence, but I'm going to reserve that actual review on the catalysts until they're all available in 3 weeks, presumably. Besides that, I'm not going to drag out this video any longer than I need to. I have said what I need to say. This thing is incredible in both PvE and PvP. It's a little bit better in PvE. I'm having a lot of fun using it, so at this point, hey, if you like it, let me know. Let me know what you think of the season so far. If you haven't already, I'm going to shamelessly plug one of my other videos. If you haven't watched it, I think you should watch it. Besides that, yeah, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoy this upcoming weekend. Have a great day now. Bye-bye.